Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight in our news.
Canadians being warned of traveling to the Bahamas.
Former Transport Minister Glenys Hannah Martin weighs in on the delayed relocation of the General Post Office.
Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Jared Higgs. Topping news tonight, one family Junkanoo organization is rushing into the New Year's Day Junkanoo Parade with a major win under its belt after outperforming the competition during Wednesday's Boxing Day Parade. However, group members say they're not quite ready to celebrate just yet. They're too busy trying to capture two straight. Jillian Gray reports.
And the unofficial winner of the 2018 Boxing Day Parade, one family will score 87.55.
It was the One Family Junkanoo group that rushed into first place with the theme Nursery Rhymes. Their rendition of the hit children's song Baby Shark added to their victory in the music category.
At the end of the day, the best man wins, and it just shows hard work and determination.
But there is no party just yet. While group members are happy for the win, they said they're gearing up for New Year's Day.
You understand me? All us looking for the double. Everybody would want a second win. You know if I'm about that part.
Our New Year's costume will be fully ready and on the same level as, I think, as Boxing Day.
Meanwhile, the Valley Boys placed a close second, scoring 85.61 points with the theme Glitz and Glamour. Following fans' frustrating wait for the group whose banners were initially blocked from the parade route, Vice Chairman Stephen Bain insisted they are ready for the New Year's Day parade and added that it's everyone's responsibility to help fix the hiccups.
All of us are Junkanoo. We have to respect our culture. And if something is holding up the program, it should be one even with the police officers and whatnot to law enforcement. Just saying. Should have been able to quell that situation.
Roots, whose theme was Heaven is Real, came third with 85.46 points and also took home Best Lead Costume. It also won Best Music and Best Free Dance. Genesis Warhawks came in fourth with 83.7 points. Its theme was a journey through Wonderland. The Saxons Superstars, which performed under the theme I Love Music, any kind of music, placed fifth, receiving a score of 82.81. Both the Music Makers and Prodigal Sons were disqualified. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
Following the Saxons' fifth-place finish in the Boxing Day Parade, social media went into a frenzy, creating a seemingly endless stream of memes, poking fun at the Category A group's disappointing performance. We ventured inside a One Family Shack today to get group members' responses.
The dogs ain't even barking me since, man. Gotta spot us.
Many created memes like working 9 to Saxons today, wish I was off. However, group members say they're simply regrouping ahead of the New Year's Day Parade.
It is what it is, you know. So we just have to redeem ourselves for New Year's now, you know. So that's basically it.
So y'all coming up with fire New Year's?
Man, more than fire, more than fire we coming with it. So we just want to let everybody else know, come New Year's, we got something for y'all.
So y'all ain't salty about what happened?
No, not really, no. Like I said, we just have to redeem ourselves for New Year's.
Okay.
That's pretty simple, you know.
Junkanoo fans were all waiting in anticipation to find out how the Saxons would place after Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis, who was a beller in the group, said he was more concerned about the Saxons' performance on Boxing Day than union threats of a general strike. We also asked group members about the added pressure as a result of Minnis' comments.
I just want the Bahamian people to know that they said that the Prime Minister was rushing with us. We're gonna make sure we get first. But just let them know it didn't happen like how they thought it was gonna happen. We got last. So even though we got the most powerful man in the island on our team, quite obvious he's powerless.
As they prepare for the next big parade on Bay, Saxons members also addressed concerns over big gaps between music and other sections of the group.
It wasn't a big factor like how everybody said. There was one thing, some of the costumes was too heavy, so it actually hold the parade up. But other than that, everything was flawless. There wasn't no fault in my book. Just execute your job, that's it.
Now, following those complaints over long gaps between Junkanoo groups, Chairman of the Junkanoo Corporation of New Providence, Silbert Ferguson, says they had things lined up for a seamless parade this go around, but Mother Nature and a few other factors played a huge role in slowing down the parade.
The gaps, the gaps happen in Junkanoo so strange, but we were convicted this year that we were going to shut them all down. Okay, we were sure and convinced that we were going to shut them down. Unfortunately, this happened, and we make no excuses, and the public needs to know there's no excuses for it. Okay, we had a bad turn with the weather, which people really do not understand with Junkanoo, and so we'll try to correct those things for New Year's morning.
Tickets for the New Year's Day Junkanoo Parade are going slowly, according to Ferguson, who says the JCNP is more concerned about ironing out the kinks before the second major parade.
It's unfortunate, and we have a lot of people who don't think we did our jobs, and I like to say some special words to them, but not now, but the thing about it, you work hard to make this happen. This is not a joke to us, okay? You don't work 12 months on costuming and planning, and all of a sudden it goes down the drain in 2 hours, and so again, we apologize, and we'll make the necessary adjustments, which I don't think we have to make for New Year's, once we have good weather. And perhaps this gives us the opportunity to talk about Junkanoo and Boxing Day, because it seems like every Boxing Day in this country it rains. Okay, we've had rain every Boxing Day for the last 6 years.
Following a holiday travel nightmare that left hundreds of Bahamas Air passengers stranded in airports for hours over the weekend, the national flag carrier reporting even more delays today. The airline noted that due to earlier weather-related challenges today at Lynden Pilling International Airport, air traffic control held a number of flights on the ground. Bahamas Air said, as a result of these air traffic control related challenges, a number of flights are now carrying significant delays, as well as Flight 320, which was returned to Freeport after holding in the air for 35 minutes. Other airlines were said to be experiencing similar delays. Additionally, Bahamas Air warned that some of its outbound U.S. flights may not be able to clear customs in Nassau and may have to be post-cleared in the United States. As a result, the airline urges passengers scheduled to travel on Bahamas Air evening flights into the U.S., but who are not in possession of a U.S. visa, to contact the airline to confirm departure times or to reschedule travel times. As government continues its search for a buyer for the Grand Lucayan Resort, Deputy Prime Minister Peter Turnquest says he hopes that the completion of the voluntary separation package process will result in lower monthly expenses at the resort. This comes just a day after government missed its self-imposed deadline to complete the VSEP process.
We've budgeted 1.5 basically a month, but we expect that with the VSEPs that was just being settled, that'll bring that cost down.
Approximately 200 employees were expected to accept voluntary separation packages, with offers being made to both line staff and managers at the resort. That process is being guided by Lucayan Renewal Holdings, which is also tasked with finding a buyer for the resort. The VSEP process was initially expected to be completed by Christmas. However, when asked if that process met its deadline, Turnquest said this.
No, it was not. It was delayed, but hopefully we'll get it done in the next week.
Government purchased the storm-damaged Grand Lucayan Resort from Hutchison Whampoa back in September for its full asking price of $65 million, forking out $30 million up front and taking out a $35 million 3.5-year government-guaranteed mortgage in order to finance the purchase. Turnquest also revealed at the time that the resort required $38 million worth of repairs. And while government stated at the time of purchase that it hoped to have the resort sold in 3 to 6 months, Tourism Minister Dioniso de Aguilar revealed last month that the timeline had been extended to June 30th, 2019. Despite the setbacks, Turnquest is optimistic that the resort will turn a profit during that time.
We have some good business that's coming in for the next 6 months that's going to further bring that down, and we actually may turn a profit for the next 6 months. So we're optimistic that we're going to be able to bring that cost down and keep it within the budget that we had for it.
The Canadian government once again advising its citizens traveling to the Bahamas to exercise a high degree of caution. The advisory also warning members of the LGBT community to consider the risks of traveling to the country. Kyle Joaquin has that.
Canada letting the Bahamas have it in its December 20th travel advisory on the Bahamas. On the website, Canadians are advised that the risk level of traveling to the Bahamas is high and that visitors should exercise a high degree of caution due to high rates of crime in Nassau and Freeport. While it notes that crime is down, the advisory also warns that armed robberies, purse snatchings, theft, and sexual assaults are the most common practices against travelers in Freeport and Nassau, and that crime increases during the holidays. It goes even further, giving these tips. Avoid Nassau's over-the-hill and fish fry areas, especially at night. Don't walk alone, particularly after dark. And if threatened by robbers, stay calm and don't resist.
But the advisory for Canadian visitors didn't stop there. It also touched on road safety.
The advisory said roads are generally adequate in major cities, but in poor conditions in rural areas. Road construction is not always well marked. Drinking and driving is prevalent. And taxi drivers weren't left out. Canadians were urged to negotiate the price before you get in. Only use licensed taxis and never share a taxi with strangers. The headline for that portion read, "Taxis don't use meters." Then there's the warning to the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender community. It warns, Bahamian law does not prohibit sexual acts between individuals of the same sex. However, homosexuality is not widely socially accepted. LGBTQ travelers should carefully consider the risks of traveling to the Bahamas. But does the warning to Canadians traveling to the Bahamas contain a bit of inaccuracy? Under the subsection titled Money, Canadian travelers are informed it is illegal to depart the country with more than $200 Bahamian in your possession because the currency is restricted. Well, we reached out to the Canadian Embassy in the Bahamas for clarification. However, we got no response.
Now, we also reached out to several cabinet ministers whose ministries would be affected by the release, including the ministers of Tourism and National Security. However, we got no response. But we did get a response for the minister responsible for foreign affairs, who said he would address the issue in the very near future. Reporting for Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Still to come on Our News, Anglican MP slams government's delay in relocating post office workers. And a little later, Our News Year in Review 2018 airing tonight. Stay tuned.